Let me tell you what most debt advice actually looks like. Cut your coffee. Make a spreadsheet. Be patient. Trust the process. And meanwhile, you're still drowning, still stressed at 2 a.m., still watching your balance barely move after months of trying. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you, because the advice you've been given isn't just incomplete. In some cases, it's actively making your situation worse. What I'm going to walk you through today is the actual fastest way to eliminate debt, backed by math, backed by behavioral research. And it's probably not what you've heard before. Stay with me, because the next few minutes could genuinely change your financial trajectory. First, if you're in debt, I need you to hear this clearly. You are not irresponsible. You are not a failure. You are living in a country where the average household carries $104,000 in total debt across mortgages, auto loans, student loans, and credit cards. You were never an outlier. You were always part of a very large, very quiet crowd. Credit card debt alone averages $6,501 per American household, according to Experian's most recent data. And the Federal Reserve reports that Americans collectively owe over $1.1 trillion in credit card debt right now. That number just hit a record high. But here's the part that really stings. Debt isn't just a financial problem, it's a physical one. A 2013 study published in the American Journal of Health Promotion found that high debt levels are directly associated with higher blood pressure, worse sleep quality, and elevated stress hormones. People in serious debt report higher rates of depression and anxiety than those who are debt-free, even when income levels are similar. This isn't about willpower. This is about a system that was never designed to help you get out once you're in. Take the minimum payment trap. If you carry a $10,000 balance on a credit card charging 24% APR, and you only make minimum payments, you will be paying that card for over 27 years, and you'll pay nearly $14,000 in interest alone on a $10,000 debt. Think about that. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed, just not for you. Here's where most people go wrong, and I mean most, including people who are genuinely trying. Mistake number 1, budgeting without a payoff strategy. A budget tells you where your money goes. It does not tell your debt to disappear. Tracking spending without an aggressive repayment plan just makes you a more organized debtor. That's not the goal. Mistake number 2, paying a little toward every single debt every month. This feels responsible. It feels balanced. But mathematically, it's one of the slowest ways to pay off debt. You're spreading your firepower thin across every target instead of destroying them one by one. Mistake number 3, closing credit cards the moment you pay them off. This one costs people dearly. Closing a card reduces your total available credit, which raises your credit utilization ratio, which drops your credit score. A lower score means higher interest rates on future loans. You pay off one card and accidentally make every other debt more expensive. Mistake number 4, ignoring interest rates completely. Paying off the smallest balance first feels incredible. There's real psychological momentum in it. But if that small balance is at 7% while your bigger balance is at 26%, you're celebrating while the real enemy quietly eats you alive. Mistake number 5, cutting expenses without addressing income. This is the big one. Spending less has a hard floor. You cannot cut your way below $0 in monthly expenses. But income? Income has no ceiling. Treating debt repayment as a pure subtraction problem ignores the most powerful variable in the equation. All right, here's what actually works. The mathematically fastest and cheapest method to eliminate debt is called the debt avalanche. The concept is simple. You list every debt you have. You make minimum payments on all of them, every single month, no exceptions. Then you take every extra dollar you can find and attack the debt with the highest interest rate first. When that's gone, you roll that payment into the next highest rate, and so on. Let's make this real with actual numbers. Say you have 3 debts: a $5,000 credit card at 24% APR, a $8,000 personal loan at 14%, and a $3,000 card at 19%. You have $400 a month total to put toward debt. Using minimum payments only, you're in debt for over 6 years and pay roughly $5,200 in interest. Using the Snowball method, smallest balance first, you pay it off in about 3 years and 4 months, spending around $2,800 in interest. Using the Avalanche, highest rate first, you pay it off in about 3 years and 1 month, spending roughly $2,400 in interest. The Avalanche saves you $400 compared to Snowball and over $2,800 compared to minimums. Small difference in time, meaningful difference in money. Now, what about debt consolidation? This is where people get confused. Consolidation works when it lowers your average interest rate without extending your repayment timeline significantly. If you're carrying $20,000 across multiple cards at 22 to 26% and you qualify for a personal consolidation loan at 10 to 12%, that's a legitimate move. It simplifies your payments and saves real money in interest. But consolidation through predatory lenders that charge origination fees, penalty rates, or stretch your timeline to 7 years, that's not a solution. That's a repackaged problem. The balance transfer play is also worth knowing. Many cards offer 0% APR for 12 to 21 months on transferred balances. If you can transfer $6,000 to a 0% card and pay $300 a month, you wipe it out completely before interest ever touches it. The key is the transfer fee, usually 3 to 5%, and the discipline to actually pay it down before the promotional period ends. If you don't, the deferred interest can hit hard. Here's something the math doesn't cover. Knowing the right strategy and actually executing it are two completely different things. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that financial stress triggers avoidance behavior in the majority of people, meaning the more stressed you are about debt, the less likely you are to open your statements, log into your accounts, or face the real number. And avoidance is where debt multiplies quietly. So before the strategy, there's a reset you need to do. Open every account. Write down every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment, all of it on one page. This is uncomfortable. It might be the most uncomfortable 20 minutes of your month. But the moment you see the full picture, something shifts. The unknown is always scarier than the known. Automate your minimum payments immediately. Every account. Set it, forget it. This protects your credit score and removes the cognitive load of remembering multiple due dates. Then, focus your manual, intentional energy entirely on your highest rate debt. Tell someone, a partner, a friend, a sibling. Research from the Dominican University of California found that people who write down their goals and share them with a friend are 33% more likely to achieve them. Debt repayment is no different. Accountability is a multiplier. Now, let's go on offense. Everything I've described so far is defensive, managing what you already owe. But the fastest way to accelerate any debt payoff plan is to increase the amount of money going toward it each month. An extra $300 a month applied to a $15,000 debt at 20% APR doesn't just speed things up slightly, it cuts years off your timeline and saves thousands in interest. The math compounds in your favor the moment you add more to the principal. You don't need a second career. You need one focused short-term sprint. Sell things you're not using. The average American household has between $3,000 and $7,000 worth of unused items sitting in closets, garages, and storage units, according to a survey by OfferUp. That's a real debt injection. Not $15 here and there, but potentially thousands at once. Freelance one skill you already have. Writing, design, video editing, bookkeeping, tutoring. Platforms like Upwork and Fiverr connect you to paying clients within days. Even $500 a month extra changes the trajectory significantly. Every windfall goes directly to debt. Tax refund, bonus, birthday money, side income. Before it hits your checking account and becomes invisible, redirect it intentionally to your highest rate balance. This isn't about suffering. It's about a defined sprint with a defined finish line. Here's the final thing I want to leave you with. Calculate your debt freedom date. Right now, tonight. Take your total balances, your interest rates, your monthly payment capacity, and use a free debt payoff calculator online. Enter the real numbers. Get a real date. Write that date down somewhere you'll see it, because abstract debt feels endless, but a specific date, March 2027, August 2026, December 2028, that becomes a target. And targets are things you can actually aim at. Your one action for today. List every debt you have, balance, interest rate, minimum payment. One page. That's it. Just start there. One question for the comments. What's the debt that stresses you out the most? Credit cards? Student loans? Medical bills? Drop it below. You might be surprised how many people are dealing with the exact same thing. You got into debt inside a system that made it very easy to do so. Getting out requires a system too. Now you have one.